Good evening and welcome back to another edition of Cue Ball's Cutting Corner. I'm Cue Ball, and tonight I'm going to be reviewing a knife that's on loan to me from Blades and EDC, and that is the Manix 2 by Spyderco. Ooh, that lockup is so nice. I don't know if you can hear that. Hear that ting? Part of that tinging is actually coming from these scales. We'll get into that in a second. But, let me hold it up to the mic. There's some ASMR for you. All right. So the reason I'm reviewing this knife was talking to Blades and EDC, and I mentioned to him that I really didn't like the Manix 2 XL. I actually had the Manix 2 XL. I'd heard great things about the knife, and I don't know, just didn't do it for me. So I got the knife in hand, and even though I have these monstrous, large hands, the XL version just didn't feel comfortable to me in hand. It may have been because it's about the same width as the standard size Manix 2. And just by extending it out, and I think part of it too was that it didn't have really nice contours like these aftermarket handles do, and I don't know, it just didn't do it for me. So I was told though that I needed to check out the standard Manix 2. And so Blades and EDC was kind enough to send this to me to check out. And he's done some, and this thing is really decked out. It has some of these, the scales are actually made of aluminum. It looks like they're Cerakoted. I believe that's what this is. This is a Cerakote. But they've been lightly milled. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see this on camera or not. I don't know how well my phone camera is going to pick up the texturing, but very light texturing. And it's not actual lines. They're just slightly curved lines that go all the way from the end of the knife to the other end of the knife. It's really neat. And it just gives it this nice feel. And along with the black hardware, you got the black backspacer here and also the standoff. Of course, this backspacer here is part of the lock mechanism and gives the knife, lots of rigidity. You have this fat carbon fiber clip that has some blues that matches the Cerakote finish. It has some reds that matches the locking mechanism. These are an aftermarket. The lock here is aftermarket. These are, I believe, anodized red aluminum. And then, of course, you have the black blade, which has been coated as well. This is either diamond light. I think this is a diamond light coating, DLC coating, which holds up very well, actually. So this is a really awesome blade too, because it's just so utilitarian. It's very leaf patternish, which is synonymous to Spyderco. Of course, you got the Spidey hole. S30V on the blade steel. So this is a standard. I believe when this was purchased, this was a standard Manix 2. Of course, these come in a lot of different flavors, different knife steels, different handle materials. There's a lot of aftermarket parts you can get for this, but this particular rendition that Blades and EDC has put together is fantastic. It's pretty, and I'm not a big carbon fiber fan, or excuse me, fat carbon fiber fan, but this one really does it for me. Let's bring it back down here. So the Manix 2, when I first got this knife out of the package, deployed it, and held it in hand, I couldn't believe the difference that I felt between it and the XL version. It's night and day. At least to me it is. Now, I know others, Jared Neve really likes the XL version. He likes this version too, but I know his preference is the XL. For me, it wasn't, and that's okay. Everybody has their tastes, right? But I know others have told me that the standard the standard Manix 2 is really their favorite. And I can see why. This actually, my hands feel this perfectly. I don't feel too cramped into this knife. It may look like I am, but really, I'm just doing a standard grip. My fingers are just fat, so they look like they're cramped. But I can get a full purchase on this knife. It feels so locked in. And then if I want to come up into the choil, you have obviously, the best jimping in the world. Spyderco's jimping is just fantastic. I love it. And so, yeah, great purchase on this knife. These scales are beautiful. They're so well done. They're nice and rounded off, contouring. I wouldn't say they're contoured. They're flat, but they definitely did take and chamfer these edges enough to where it feels very, very good in hand. I don't even feel that pocket clip. That's what's cool too, is I do not feel this pocket clip at all. And again, it could just be because I have fat hands. But getting back to the knife, this runs on phosphor bronze washers. So it is not going to have, the action that you would normally see with ceramic or even steel bearings. However, it will break in over time, and it will be very easy to keep clean if it gets sturdy. And I don't know if Blazing EDC plans on using this knife as a heavy user or just, as a regular EDC to take around and every few days or maybe just once a week. I know he has a pretty good collection as well. So lots of knives to choose from, obviously. But yeah, it's an all around fantastic package. Now, I did some research, and the Manix 2 came out in 2019. So this hasn't been around, but only for about 4 years. So it's not that old of a model. I believe they had a Manix, but this was the upgraded Manix. So I don't know what the upgrades are, if it had to do with the blade shape or just the handle shape. Maybe it's the materials, who knows? But I will say this. I think maybe it was the locking mechanism. That might be it. Maybe the Manix, original Manix, came with just the mid back lock. And this one has the upgraded ball bearing lock that Spyderco has come out with. This lock is fantastic, by the way. I think it rivals really the bar lock, to be honest. It's super easy to grip onto. What's really cool about this lock too is that the locking mechanism itself doesn't protrude out too far, so which is nice. So this goes really easily into in and out of the pocket. It makes it for a nice low profile, but really grippy. And I had the Manix 2XL, so I know what the plastic one felt like, and it was the same thing. It was very grippy, had really nice jimping in it as well. So these aftermarket latches are very similar to the original. Nice smooth kick on that. You can hear that just snaps out of there. I mean, it's just very snappy. You can still whip this back in, one fell swoop, but it's not drop shut, and that's because I tightened the pivot on this. It came a little bit loose. And I also centered this one a little bit better than it was. So when Blazing EDC gets this knife back, it'll be a little bit better centered. Now, he may want to loosen the pivot a little bit more just so it gives it more of a drop shot action. But I think if you just leave it like this for a while, over time, it's going to break in really, really, really well. May never be drop shut with it being this tight, but there is literally up here, I don't feel any blade play whatsoever. Only when I get down to the tip do I feel just the ever slightest wiggle back and forth, and that's just side to side. There is absolutely no blade play up and down, so that's really good. So this lock is doing its job. Awesome knife. I think I want to add one of these to my collection for sure. So is my mind changed on the Manix 2 platform after owning the XL version? Yep. I really like this knife. I would like to actually get one of these and carry as a daily user, along with some of my other daily carries. But yeah, I have to say that Blazing EDC was correct. I was going to get this in hand and really like it. But it will, I'll have to wait because I have a couple other knives that I'm pursuing right now, and I will be at Blade Show at the end of this month. So if you happen to see me at Blade Show, just look for the big blonde-headed guy. I will either be wearing shorts and a t-shirt, and probably have a towel with me. I usually carry a white towel wherever I go, especially when it's hot and humid. I used to do that at pool tournaments. But to come up and say hi, you'll recognize my voice. It's pretty distinct. And I would love to take and meet you. You'll see me there. I'll be there all 3 days, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So again, Blazing EDC, thank you so much for sending this to me. I can't wait to send you some of the knives that I have boxed up, along with this guy. Oh, really quick, I will say that in honor of May the 5th, May the 4th. Sorry, Cinco de Mayo is tomorrow. May the 5th is tomorrow. Today's May the 4th be with you. And so for all of you Star Wars fans, this is what I carried today. I was going through my box early this morning before work, and I'm like, gosh, what knife do I want to carry? And I picked up the Civivi Badlands Vagabond, and I have not carried this knife in probably over a year. This is the one that has the hollow ground blade. Well, I think all the Badlands are hollow ground. This one is the Damascus with the hand rubbed black finish, and then has the textured carbon fiber handles, deep carry pocket clip, steel liners. Very, very good lockup on this knife. Excellent action. It does run on ceramic ball bearings. So the action on this knife is very, very smooth. Not quite drop shut, but that's okay. I don't mind that. Failed that reverse flick. Sorry about that. But the thumb, gosh, hard to do this on camera. I'm still learning. But the action on this knife is excellent. So if you get a chance to pick one of these up, I believe they're discontinued, but you can still find some online. The budget version of this knife is about $39.95, and I believe this one was closer to $80 just because of the materials, the Damascus, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, great knife. This is my carry today for May the 4th to be with you in honor of Darth Vader, an all blacked out knife. Okay. Well, that's all I have for you tonight, folks. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that you learned something about the Manix 2. And if you happen to see one of these, pick it up. I think you'll like it. And for those of you who have one of these in your collection already, I am a little bit jealous now. Not going to lie. All right. Until next time, have a wonderful evening. Have a great Friday. Happy Cinco de Mayo. And as always, God bless.